All right, good afternoon. Yeah, just first of all, just want to really just thank a crowd from Saturday as well, man. What a great energy was out there. And going back and looking at the highlights, it was awesome. There's some great clips when our guys made some plays, and you see particularly the student section back there, everybody just going up, going crazy. So it was incredible. We had several recruits in this weekend, and they were all fired up and about the atmosphere as well. So it all ties in. It all helps us be successful as a program. And just looking back at the film, defensively, man, I thought we were swarming to the ball. A lot of hats onto the running back, which we needed to do. And we played physical. I think, and our offensive line played physical, our defense played physical, and I thought that was obviously a big factor in getting that win. And was really proud of our guys and how they finished it out, and really solid win. A team that came in, it was 5-1, and the stakes just keep getting bigger. You win a game, the next week it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Now here we are, going into game 8, going and playing a Colorado team that's the same record as us, and a lot riding on the line. I mean, we're both, sitting right there at the top of the conference with a lot at stake. This is a team that's had made great improvement from last year. I look at the team, and the offense gets a lot of accolades and talked about a lot as they should. Shador's playing at a very, very high level. Travis Hunter, extremely high level. And about 4 other receivers playing at a high level. I mean, they're incredible passing game. And they're hard to defend, they're hard to stop, and they're hard to slow down. But I do think the defense is getting overlooked a little bit. I think their defense is playing really, really good this year. I think they've played a lot better, as the season has gone. They're a football team that's gotten better. It's what you want. And so, we look at the film, I think they're number 1 in sacks. They had a huge game last week against Arizona. I think they got 7 sacks last week. They're number 1 in tackles for loss defensively. So they're very active. They play hard, which is a sign of a well-coached team. And they had some really good athletes. And, they've got it rolling there. And so, obviously, a tremendous challenge for us as we're going into their environment. This game was sold out in the summer. I think it's Parents' Weekend. It's a hot ticket. And, I think this is what we're all signed up for, to go to the Big 12, to be able to play for games like this and championship level games that it's going to be on, national TV, although on the East Coast late, but on national TV, and, everybody will be watching. So, I think it's going to be everything that we all thought it was going to be being in the Big 12. This is it. And so we're excited about this opportunity.
Coach, against Houston and Texas Tech, you completed, I think, 11 balls that were 15 air yards on the pass, and then 0 for 10 combined the past 2 weeks. Is that a matter of defenses seeing those numbers and really focusing on taking that away? Are you missing some of those, and what do you have to do to get that spark back to your offense?
Yeah, I mean, we've missed a few. I do think, defensively they've done a good job with some of those type throws and balls down the field. I think we've also really more emphasized the other intermediate throws, completions. I think, the last 2 games, there at some point in those games, Sorsby's been, close to 95% at some point stretch in there. So really for us, we're really trying to get completions, and I think get completions and then let our guys see what they can do with it. And I think that's probably been the main emphasis the last couple of weeks, although you would love to be able to hit some balls down the field and get some big chunk plays. And we need to do that. We need to get better with that. But I do think, defenses have done a good job. We took a couple of shots this past week and, just couldn't connect to an interception and, a couple of good plays by our DBs. And so, we'll keep at it. We'll keep seeing if we can find some ways to push the ball down the field. But I think as long as we're being efficient and getting the first downs, that's going to be the key. And then, hopefully we're able to break a tackle here or there once we get the ball down there and get some big plays off of that.
Colorado is a totally different beast from the last couple of weeks. The last 2 teams have been very running back heavy. These guys are going to put 4, maybe 5 receivers out there. Yep. How do you plan to try to slow them down?
Yeah, we got to continue to do the things we've been doing the last few weeks. It's just going to be a different way, right? We knew the last 3 weeks. There was 3 outstanding running backs, 3 of the best in the country. And now, you're playing a team that's going to spread you out and try to, get some space out there for those wide receivers. So we got to do a great job of recognizing, formations and what they're trying to do within those formations, staying on top, They'll hit some plays for sure. They do on everybody, but now we got to get them down. I think that's the big thing, is trying to limit some of those big plays where those guys are catching the ball and running off with it. They have some great speed at wide receiver. There's not just one guy you have to worry about. I mean, there's a bunch of them out there across the board, and somebody's going to get singled up. And so, we got to do a great job of doing that. We have to mix it up on Shedeur. I think if you just allow him to sit in that pocket, he's going to kill you. So you have to be able to do some things to maybe try to get him off the spot. He does a great job when he does get flushed out of the pocket of keeping his eyes up down the field and having some big plays. He believes in his receivers, and so we got to do a great job if he does get out of the pocket of trying to have somebody to contain that. It's a big challenge. I don't know any which way you slice it. I mean, it's a big challenge to try to slow him down and to try to limit what they can do. I do feel like, again, they will get some plays on us, but we got to try to get them down and get them, where we can play defense again. I think that's where our defense has done a good job. We've given up some yards this year, but once we get them down, we've done a good job of holding the field goal attempts.
You guys have led at the half in each of your first 7 games. What does that do for the momentum, the psychological mindset for your team when you lead after 30 minutes going back into the locker room?
Well, I mean, it's obviously a good feeling, to go in the locker room with the lead. And, now it's about what adjustments can you make, and then, how we're going to come out and finish. In a couple of games we didn't finish this year. And we've gotten off to great starts, that's for sure. That certainly gives you a chance. I mean, we certainly want to get off to great starts, but we also want to finish. And we got to do a better job in the second half. We've not done as good, I don't think, in the second half of finishing out games. Now, some of it has to do with the way the game's going. But I also think, we do have to continue to try to score and put points on the board. These teams, particularly these teams, we're getting ready to play in the last 5 games, offensively can score from anywhere at any time. And so you always got to keep the pedal down and try to keep scoring points.
Is near the top of the league in just about every passing category. What attributes of his impress you most?
Yeah, I mean, I think just he plays with such great confidence. I mean, I think that stands out. I mean, he's got a lot of talent and ability, but he's got a lot of confidence in what they're trying to do offensively. I mean, Shedeur's probably had a football in his hand since he could walk. I mean, he's very comfortable throwing the football. He's had great mentors and coaches throughout his whole life. He's been throwing, 7-on-7 his whole life. I mean, he is very, very comfortable sitting out there and having his receivers out and running those routes. He anticipates very well. To the average eye, you may look, and that guy looks covered, but not to him. He'll be able to throw him open, and then there he goes, and now the receiver will go get the ball. I mean, it's just he's got great anticipation and poise when he's playing. He doesn't get rattled. I think he's just got a bunch of attributes, obviously, to be the kind of player that he is. And it obviously shows. I mean, he gives his team a chance to win each and every week. And, with the way their defense has been playing, I think that's why they're sitting there where they are right now with that, combined with that offense.
Corey Kiner, he became the 15th player in school history to eclipse 2,000 rushing yards. Talk about his relentlessness as a running back, just breaking tackles behind the line of scrimmage and just fighting for those harder yards.
Yeah, we talked about these other 3 backs that we played the last 3 weeks, but really Corey's just as good as those guys. Corey's as good as a back there is. When it comes to a guy who can break tackles and run through tackles, I mean, he's as good as anybody in the country. He's got a low center of gravity. He's very strong. He's got really good contact balance, and he gives us a chance. I mean, there's several times Saturday where he's hit at the line of scrimmage. Man, you're thinking, oh man, we're not getting anything. You look up, and all of a sudden he's got 3, 4, 5 yards. I mean, he runs so hard. He's a beast, man. He's been a great leader for us, and a great teammate and a great player. And so obviously super excited to have him on our squad. And he'll be critical this week. This will be a game where they're playing a lot of the man coverage and stacking the box. He's going to have to break some tackles to get some big yards. But I think what we're going to count on him to do that. Really proud of him last week. I mean, he had over 100 yards rushing, and their back at Arizona State came in with a lot of accolades. But Corey being able to outrush him, I mean, it speaks a lot about Corey and our offensive line.
Early in the year, your outside safeties were doing a lot of the tackling, Minkins and Canteen. If you look at the box score from Arizona State, your top 6 tacklers were either linebackers or the star position. Mm-hmm. How much has that improvement in the middle of the defense been key to this defense taking another step?
Yeah, I mean, incredibly important. I really feel like our linebackers over the course of the season have gotten more and more comfortable in their roles and in how to fit the defense. Early in the year I thought we were real loose. With the linebackers and including the star, which is like a linebacker. But we were real loose in our defense there, and we, over the course of they got comfortable. They're tightening it down. They're getting where they're supposed to be. We've had way less missed assignments. Our worst game, obviously defensive, was at Texas Tech, where we had over 40 missed assignments. And we've been in the teens the last few weeks, and so that's just a big difference there. Lining up where you're supposed to line up, fitting where you're supposed to fit, playing downhill and playing physical football, and it's what we needed in these last few games. And so. Now, different challenge this week. We're talking about the guys spreading you out now, so it is going to loosen up your defense. But how we still can fit the run, because they will still run the ball, but how you fit the run is going to be incredibly important this week. And also our alignment. Where are we lining up? Where's our leverage in the secondary and at linebacker? So that's going to be big this week too.
Talked about Corey Kiner being that kind of power back coming out of the backfield. You also have Evan Pryor, who broke away for that 55-yard touchdown, kind of being more of an explosive play type back. What's it like having that thunder lightning approach?
Yeah.
And coming out of the backfield?
Yeah, that's when we were recruiting Evan. That's the one thing that we talked to him about is being a great compliment to Corey, because Corey's coming back and he's our guy. And Evan was good with that. He's just going to be. I knew he's going to be a guy to come in and spell him. But he brings a different approach, right? I mean, when he hits the gas, he's gone. Like Saturday I was like, he's gone. About 10 yards into it, he's just got another gear, and it's fun to watch him. He's had, I don't know so many big runs this year. He can catch the ball out of the backfield too, so he's an electric player. It's a little bit different for the defense too. Is where Corey's going to run you, he can run you over. Evan's going to run around you and then take it the distance. So it's been great to have him. I think Manny's done a great job as well for us to come in. He brings a little bit of juice as well, so it's a little bit different style, and he can catch the ball. So I think we had a really good complement of running backs this year, and to be able to run and catch, and so it's really helped our offense out.
We talk often about your offensive line as a whole, and we talk often about how good Luke is. I think very quietly John Williams is having an excellent season. Yeah. I think the PFF grade is close to 90. How essential has he been specifically in just Brandon's development in the past?
Yeah, I'm really proud of John. You're right. He gets often overlooked, and to play the left tackle spot is normally a spot where everybody looks at, and he's done a really nice job this year. I thought he had a great offseason. He really improved himself from the year before, and really, he's a smart guy, and he came in this year, really worked on what he needed to work on, played in a lot more confidence this year, and he's been very, very solid, but really and truly all those guys up front, we talked about it's going to be a strength of our team coming in this year with the leadership that we have from those guys up front, with Gerhard up front. You got DT and Kendra and John. That's kind of been the mainstay, the leaders of our team, really. And so, I've been proud of John, the way he's played. Obviously, we're going to need it. They got a great defensive line this week, so it'll be another great challenge for us. But, hopefully those guys will continue to play well, give us a chance.
Is this what you envisioned, playing a primetime game at the beginning of the season? Maybe fans couldn't see the vision, but is this something that you kind of figured early when fall camp was getting done?
Well, we always take it one game at a time, but this is part of our goal this season is to play for Big 12 championship. We just taking it one game at a time, 1 week at a time, one day at a time. There's a lot of cliche in there, but this team has really done a great job of staying in the moment. Not looking behind, not looking ahead, just focusing on what we can do this week to get better. Today will be no different. We need to have a great Tuesday practice. But I do want to talk about our leadership, because our leadership, and it started all the way in the offseason of those guys getting together, setting a lot of these goals, and then holding each other accountable. And I think that's critical in any kind of team sport. If you get your players to be part of the goal setting and then to hold each other accountable, that's when you got something special. And we kind of felt that this summer. We knew that was happening with this team. You never know what the record's going to be like. You never know how you're going to end up going out and playing. But they've been so connected, and they're fun to be around. And so you can just feel it in the building. We said that last spring, and it has continued throughout the rest of the season. And so, hopefully we'll continue to stay that way, play for each other, and some great things will continue to happen.
Missed fourth down conversion. I'm not sure if you guys realized that was the first missed fourth down of the season. So is fourth down play calling or play calling on fourth down for you different than first, second, or third down?
Yes. We're obviously on fourth down. I think you're going to get certain types of defenses depending on where you're at in the field. And that was a little bit unique because I think we're a 3 or 4 yard line, 4th down. You're up 10. Can you kick it? Now you're up 13. I mean, it really doesn't really help you. So we felt like in that scenario, let's just go for it. You know, and then it comes back to play calling. Obviously, it doesn't work. You're like, crap, I should have called something else. But, you know, that's our first one that we missed, 4th down wise. I mean, so we've been really, really good in that category. And, you know, felt like let's try to run it right here. And it was a zone read type play. Could have handed the ball or pulled it and run the option. So we had scored on that play earlier. And but, you know, when you don't get it, it's easy to second guess, just like everybody does. But, you know, we had to go for it in that scenario. And then having gone for it, now you don't get it, they still got the ball, and they got to go a long ways, 96, 7 yards, you know, and that's a long time to waste off the clock. And so we felt good about going for it in that scenario. Yeah, we'd go for it again, but obviously probably would have had a different play call.
When you look at the attributes it takes to be successful at quarterback in a road environment that you're going to be walking into Saturday, does Sorsby essentially check every one of those boxes just naturally?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think Brennan has a good plan of what before the ball is snapped, and I think you've got to have that. You have to play with poise, you know, when you're playing in an environment like that. I mean, you literally have to. I mean, it's going to be a great environment. You got to drown everything out and really focus on exactly what are those 11 guys doing on that side of the ball before you snap it, and then have a plan to know what you're going with the ball. And I think he does a great job with that. And I think our guys do play with poise, and so you're going to have that. We're going to have to play discipline football. And, you know, in this game, you know, I think they've done a good job of winning the turnover margin. We got to win the turnover margin. That's going to be critical, and that comes down to quarterback play a lot of times. You know, so and Brendan's played in big games before, you know, and he's come through and got a lot of confidence in him. But I do believe he is surrounded by a bunch of really good players that have a lot of good confidence as well. So I think you put all that together, and it gives us a great chance.
Most quarterbacks that have Shedor's athleticism, when they get out of the pocket, their eyes are downfield and they're looking to run.
Yeah.
He does not really. I mean, his eyes are downfield looking for somebody to break open. How much time do you have to spend with your defense that you have to respect the fact that he might be back there running around for 6 seconds and he's still going to try to throw it over top of your head?
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple things. Number one, I think he really believes in his receivers, you know, and they're really good, that they're going to continue to keep working to get open because they know he'll find them. And, yes, you're right. I mean, so many clips we've gone back and looked at where he's in the pocket. All of a sudden he makes a guy miss. He's very elusive. He gets outside. All he's doing is buying time. He's buying time for those guys to either go deep or come on a cross. And then he's got the athleticism and accuracy to be able to put it on them. And so we got to stay in coverage. You know, I think sometimes you have a tendency, oh, man, the quarterback's out. Let me come out of coverage. I mean, he'll make you pay. So you better stay in coverage right there and you know, see what's going to happen. But you're right. He's looking to look up the field to try to make the big plays, and he's had a bunch of them outside the pocket.
Do you find that it is human nature for you to think that you particularly are coaching against Deion Sanders, but have you had conversations with your team like, these are two teams with identical records overall and Big 12 play to move past the stardom that is on Colorado? Do you find it's human nature for you to think about that, and have you talked with your team about, you know, just realizing this could be a very evenly matched game?
Mm-hmm. No, we've certainly talked about where we're sitting in the standings, where we're at right now, game number 8, playing for a Big 12 championship, two teams with the same record. There's a lot on the line. Yeah, and that's what we talk about. You know, all the other stuff is what everybody else talks about. You know, for us, it's about our preparation of giving a great plan, going against their offense, their defense, their kicking game, and then going out and working on that plan this week and having great confidence in that plan when we go into the game. All the other stuff is for fans, for media, and for all the other. For us, it's about the ball. Put the ball down. It doesn't matter to us and our team. You can put the ball down anywhere, and our guys will be ready to go play. And it's all about the preparation. We're not worried or thinking about all the other stuff when it comes to this. It's all about football.
Follow-up, I asked Dante about this last week. Does the thin air and mile-high altitude, does that change the way you prepare? Does that impact preparation at all? You
know, I think our strength staff, our training staff do a great job throughout the week, no matter where we're playing, of getting our guys ready to play. We push hydration, we push sleep, we push getting extra work in the training room, the weight room. All those things is what we're focusing on, no matter where we're playing or who we're playing. And so that's what we'll focus on again this week. You know, I'm not worried about any of that. Our guys, we've been out. We went out to BYU last year. You know, we've played some situations like that. I mean, we've talked to some people about it. We're not going to be focused on that. We're focused on our preparation and how we handle it from week to week.
Any other questions for Coach? Thank you.
Thanks, guys.